We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for Top Gun Sales Boot Camp training. And we got a lot to go over. We're going to be moving fast today. Nora, what you got?
I had 31% for last week's overall.
Nice. Do you know when you're going to be able to get us a graph to go ahead and graph out? I don't know, daily, weekly, monthly.
I do not.
Okay. I don't know who knows how to do that, or who could do that for you on your behalf, if you're not able to. But anyways, there's two or three people that might be able to help you with that. So anything else you got?
Should we talk about what happened on Saturday or not?
Sure. Well, let me swing back around. Kenny, go ahead. What you got?
Um, so one thing that stood out to me, I want to in the recording the leverage course is the emotions that were portrayed by you and Tom, and I don't know how to replicate that, but I do know how to see it in when other people do it.
So Jim Bontrager's, he's probably the king of doing that. Um, any more details on that?
What I'm referring to is the emotion, like the probably the level of care that's shown when you say something about, it's not about sales, it's about so much more than that. It's about
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. So what I discovered this weekend is I discovered that people who care about what other people think about them are not caring people. They only care about themselves.
Hmm.
It's fascinating, which is most everybody in my life, just there's spectrums, there's spectrums, but most everybody in my life, they acknowledge they have the problem and they don't like it, but they can't stop it. And so, um, yeah. Anything else on that, Kenny?
So then what's the line between um
My guess
well,
is I know the answer to that
maybe
question before you ask, but go ahead.
there's nothing, no correlation between the two, the in considering other people and then you making your own decisions, so you're not you want to try to make decisions based on, not based on what other people think about you.
Right,
And then, still being considerate.
right. And you're making the best decision that you possibly can for everybody involved. And typically, the ones the ones who care the most are the ones that get shafted. That's the pattern. Because people know that you can just shaft them, or they think, well, you can just shaft them and they'll always be there. And so they get taken advantage of like crazy. And it's the stories I could tell you on that, you're just like, that can't be true, but it is true. It's insane. Yeah, bring that up in another podcast for sure. It'd be a good one on the friendship podcast, actually. Anything else, Kenny, you got?
No.
Luke, what you got?
Last week did 86%.
Nice.
So today I'm meeting with an analytic in regards to doing his cabinet installs, like very picky, very high end.
Yep.
And I think we can service him to the level that he needs or he wants. How do I communicate that?
Well, you ask questions and you listen. You ask questions and you listen. I wish you could go ahead and see me with Courtney, um, who's my pickleball coach. It's almost a little, weird. There's this young gal this little older guy, man, do I do I pay attention to her? I mean, my eyes are locked. I want to see everything that she sees. And so my ability to go ahead and just bore into the very soul of an individual to learn, like I want to learn. I want to learn how they think, what they think. It's listening. The sale doesn't come in presenting the solution. The sale comes in asking the question. The questions is where the sale occurs. That's why in the last question you have, is there any other questions? Second last question, is there any other questions that I should have asked that I didn't ask, or any additional information, that I know that we should know that we don't know? And depending on the personality depends how fast you have, because we have a lot to go. I'm going analytic, or I'm going driver expressive. So that's why I'm talking fast. But if I was selling to an amiable analytic, I'd bring the whole thing down. I mean, absolute way down. And so that's the second last question. Last question is, do you have any questions for me? If the sale process is just flawless, they're like, yeah, where do we get started? How do we get started? What's the next step? That is absolute. That's like on, Ford versus Ferrari. That's the perfect lap. It doesn't even seem like a sale. It's like, that was way too easy. It comes in asking the questions and listening at a deep level. I mean, a really deep level. And so is that Jonathan's dad?
No.
Okay. So yeah, it's asking questions and listening really, really carefully. And then a lot of it, that's interesting. Tell me more. So it's just an attentiveness. And then you have to slow down your, ADHD, your hyperactivity, your excitement, your energy. You slow it down. Like you're in, like, I played pickleball yesterday at church. It was crazy. And there's this guy, and he's good, but he was losing everything. Not because he was playing against me, but when he and I played together, it was a tight game. I mean, it was hard. And I told him, I said, you got to learn to meditate. You got to learn to do yoga. And he's an Indian guy. He's like, do you do yoga? I'm like, 7-8 hours a day. Really? Oh, I'm in my sleep. So, and we won. I mean, we squeaked it out, but it's like, calm down, like breathe, like breathe. So it's fine. Make sense?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Anything else you got, Luke?
No.
Okay, Kenny, how come you don't, how are you coming on your ratchet principle? That explains everything right there. Why, why is that, why is that not that big of a deal to you? So,
I don't know.
yeah, I probably because you don't care about anybody other than yourself. I don't know. Like, it seems to me maybe that might be the answer. And so you don't want to grow in that area. And so you were on yesterday. Any idea why you were on? Like you had your HUA, and I'm like, holy dang, I didn't know why. What in the world? Like he engaged and he participated. I'm like, this is the Kenny I used to know, but he doesn't show up much these days. And then this morning I found out why. I'm like, okay, now I understand why. You know why? Because what it is you want something, and so you want to go ahead. I mean, I told you there's an application. I said, hey, you said, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I said, stay on it because there's other opportunities and there's a high probability that it's going to go on. And then you went ahead and jumped on this morning and you're on and you're going and everything like that. And it's like, and then you're like, hey, what do you think, Mark? I was thinking, that you were asking me for my perspective. And that but then you said at the end, you really, really revealed your heart. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it's important. So once somebody asked me and said, hey, can I have your blessing, permission to do this? And I'm like, I'm just not comfortable doing that. I'm just not comfortable doing that. Something's not right. Well, would you prevent me from doing it? No, I'm not giving you blood. Something's not right here. That person's paid for that. And a lot of other people have paid for that decision for the last 15 years and will potentially for the whole life. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so you have these spurts. You go ahead and have these spurts. Like you go ahead and do these things. So what I told you this morning is, there's a high probability that you're going to go ahead and have an opportunity before you make the commitment, or the commitment's going to be a little washy. And so you're going to have an opportunity to pursue your dream, your passion. What are you passionate about? You got 2 women on your side. Man, they want to see you do passion. They love when men do passion. They don't really think about the implication of everything. They don't think, is he prepared, everything in place? Nope. They just okay, they just love that. And so you're going to get a couple. Now you're going to have a couple on the other side that are going to be like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So you got all these tensions because you're being controlled by women, which is, I don't know, whatever. If you can't control yourself, I guess, get controlled by somebody else, even if you're an adult. Even if you're an adult, but you think like a child because you haven't healed, you know what? You probably ought to consider somebody that, anyways. Okay. So are you just chasing the dopamine when you're really excited about something? Can you go ahead and bring the same energy to something when you're discouraged, frustrated, not on? Can you do all of that? Can you do that? I remember the old Kenny when he would go out cruising and he'd go and cruising in the Amish, a lot of drinking. Holy cow, there's a lot of drinking. And, when I taught the younger Kenny, hey, you don't need to drink to go ahead and have time be the center of attention. Like you can be the most drunk person there without any alcohol. And he comes back, he said, it worked, Mark, it worked. But again, slide back to the old Kenny. It's fine. It's just, so be careful when you're asking. Are you asking for permission or you're just informing? Don't deceive people. Don't deceive them. Seduce them into thinking you're asking for permission, especially as an amiable, because an amiable, what they do is there's always a reason. There's always something. So what they're often doing is they're often seducing the people. Women won't know this because they love to be seduced. So they're going to go ahead, and the amiable will go ahead and entice other people to give them permission. And then once it blows up, they're like, well, you told me I could do it. And it's like, okay, yeah, you weren't ready for that one. So make sure if you're informing people, I'm informing you of this. I'm going to do this whether or not. And again, it's not a black and white situation, but there's definitely spectrum. Okay. Yeah, when it blows up, blame somebody else. Be the victim. Women will come. It's a great way to seduce women. It's just interesting. Okay. So overconfidence. I don't know. Elaine said to me, and I don't know if she was referring to just Kenny or Kenny and Nora. I think it was just Kenny, but it might have been Kenny and Nora. I'm not sure. So I texted her, but haven't heard back. So you can check with Elaine on this. But she said, I'm pretty sure it's just Kenny, but it could have been Nora. It could apply to both, actually. And so she said something to the effect that Kenny almost thinks he's an equal with you. Questions?
What does that mean?
He's caught up. He can make decisions. He can see things like you can see things. Like he's got it together. Like he's good stuff. He can figure life out. He can figure people out. He can figure business out. He can figure other people out. It's a common Amish trait of people. What about the English? Well, they do it too. And so Alan and Nancy signed with Tanglewood Conservatory, who Luke and Kenny know. I don't know I'm sure Kenny's followed through with a gift or something to them, because he's sensitive to himself about that. So I'm sure he's done something. He's followed through because he's always looking. When I see something in somebody else, I'm going to look in myself because that's where it's at. So they said once to me, they said, Mark, there were two key people. And they said, we think they both left our company because of you. I'm like, what? Like, one went to Africa to be a missionary in Gambia, the Gambia, which where Jonathan and I went, which I didn't think was that bright of a thing, but whatever. I don't think they're dead yet. So that's good. I'm like, what do you guys mean? And it's like, you give people overcome, you believe so much in them that they thought that they were as smart as we were. And I'm like, I don't know. I think they both sides were goofballs. Both sides thought, Alan and Nancy didn't know how to go ahead and rise up. They didn't know how to lift people up and let people go. They were control freaks, never knew who it was coming from. And so, and Tom, he was goofball. He thought he was so smart. So I thought they were goofballs on both sides. I thought I communicated that, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I just communicated that to Alan and Nancy. They did not like that, especially Nancy. Holy cow. Not because she's a woman. Like, I'm sure it's not that. But boy, she did not like when I didn't go ahead and just fall in line. See, like, she knows, like the God complex. Like, yep, this is what it is. Stated as fact. And so, so it was interesting. It was interesting where Ben was 7 years old. And he wanted to be a professional speaker. He's now 27 years old, so 20 years ago. He wanted to be a professional speaker. He saw his older brothers and sisters being a professional speaker. Luke will know if he really wants to be one, if he drives that forward, if it's just a passing fancy. And so if he can go ahead and lock into that, do something, and when it gets boring and it's not fun anymore, can he make sacrifices for that? That could be like his pretend wife. Like, that would be something like, he could gain practice. He could gain skills in doing that. Anyways, and so Ben wanted to speak since he was like 4 years old. Dad, when can I speak? When can I speak? And I'm like, hey, buddy, it takes a lot of work. It's not easy. And so we worked on it some, and then he did some speaking. His younger brother, Tim, he was actually more of a natural speaker than Ben. Ben liked to do things on his own. He had a hard time memorizing things. I don't know if this will be in the, it would be good to see him when he spoke when he was like, I don't know, 9 years old or something in San Antonio, actually. Anyways, so it's just like, so here you have a 7-year-old boy. We have this huge, like, they're paying us $5,000 to fly us out to Portland, Oregon. And it's going to be Ben and Tim and then others, like a whole entourage. They probably put, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000 into us. And he had never spoken at that level before. And it's like, yeah, that's a whole different level. And he just wasn't he was arrogant, like just 7 years old, but he's amiable. So what do you expect, right? It's born income, bred income. This is what it is. He comes up to me. He's like, yeah, this is not how you motivate me. 7 years old. Like, but and then he got his mom and his, 6 siblings to all, like, I think you're being hard on Ben, Mark. I think it's, so he was able to get all of them to go ahead. So you have this 7-year-old kid that's manipulating everybody. No, not manipulating. I don't know, controlling them. Whatever the word is, that'd be good to go ahead and find from Karina. What is the word you use for manipulation? Like, what is it? I mean, she does that to other people.
You said performance.
Performance.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that because that's really interesting. So anyways, so Ben gets all of them against me. So what do?
Take out all of them?
No. I submit. Fascinating, isn't it?
How did that work out?
Well, it worked out great for me because I got a story. I got a story out of it. So I said, okay. So we did a practice run at Ed Kirch's place, and there were 20 people there. And Ben came in, he's 7, Tim's 5. They came in. I'm telling you, it was a disaster. So I told Melissa, I said, okay, honey, well, you think I'm being too hard on your brother? Okay. Like, okay, honey, got it. Well, you take him. And she had, she was, I don't know, 10 years older than him probably. So she was 16, 17. She had done professional speaking. She had been coached by the same coach I was, Linda Breakall. So she knew it, and she was really good, and she was competent. So I went ahead and, dished her to her. Said, hey, Ben, you say Dad's not doing the job. Okay. We're going to have your older sister do it. And, everybody's happy because Dad's not pushing. Not much has changed. I mean, the thing I'm working on right now is what happens when adults act like children. What am I supposed to do then? Anyways, so they did it. It was a disaster. I mean, it was an absolute disaster speaking. I mean, it was so embarrassing. It was crazy. And what did they did terrible. What did all the adults do after they spoke? Did they come up and give them tips on how they could improve? Nope. They were all like women, like with men. This is why men are weak. They came up and told them how great they were. This is not good. These were friends of the family and clients and stuff. And like, really? But I'm like, hey, I'm going to go forward with the experiment. So afterwards, after they do a terrible job, naturally, what do? Now, again, this is not black and white. I'm going in between. I'm like, hey, they got up, they spoke, they were confident without question. They were way confident. So I'm like, hey, how about if we go out for ice cream afterwards to celebrate your thing? And then I go to Melissa. I'm like, hey, Melissa, did you see how pathetic? She said, I saw it, Dad. I'm like, okay, so you got this covered, honey? See, sometimes people don't realize they're black and white. They think I'm black and white. They have no idea of the iterations of gray and all the colors and the hues and everything else. Like they have no idea. Well, Mark, if you just tweak that, I'm sorry, I've tried that. I'm not saying there's infinite number of combinations. So anyway, she got it. We went out to have ice cream. 2 days later, she comes up, she says, Dad, yeah. She's like, Dad, you got to help me out. I'm like, what's going on, honey? And she's like, Ben won't listen to me. I'm like, what do you mean he won't listen to you? Why won't he listen to you? She's like, because you went ahead and said he was doing a good job. So I gave encouragement. So what do I learn from that? I don't know, not to give encouragement. I don't know what I'm supposed to learn. I mean, it's 20 years later and I still don't. It's like people become so overconfident. It's so crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. So there's a situation in life, very significant situation in life, that I went ahead and prayed for every day for 3 years without missing a day. People do things for a day, 2 days, 3 days. Try 41 years. People have no stamina. They think they're smart. They're not. They think they got stamina. They don't. They think they got it fair. They don't. It's just like, jeepers. I remember once I was out, it came to me in my sleep last night as I was preparing for this one here. I went ahead and was out in Southern California, staying at my brother's, who was in the Marines. And I was staying at his place and I fell asleep like on the couch. I was exhausted. I woke up, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock at night and said, ooh, I didn't pray. And it wasn't just one, it was a whole bunch of stuff. 3 years. 3 years. So in The Lion King, Mufasa, the father, Simba the son, he taught him to be a great warrior. The way he did that is he had his bird And I understand this is what really happens in the jungle. Like the lion tried to teach the cubs how to go ahead and hunt, which is what, sales is about. It's about hunting. Don't get overconfident. Don't think you're smarter than you are. Don't think you're better than other people. Don't. That's when you're dangerous. You guys know the teenage principle. Pretty sure I've shared that about Melissa, our daughter, when she was 15 and driving. She got overconfident. Could have killed somebody. Could have damaged property a lot. She didn't listen to her dad. Does she now as an adult? Ish. A lot of times, probably not so much. Why? She got 3 kids and another one on the way. Okay, now I think as a woman, the more kids you get, the tendency is to say, I'm a lot smarter now. Okay, maybe you are. Maybe you are. And so in The Lion King, Mufasa goes ahead and teaches his son to go ahead and teaches his son to go ahead and be a great warrior. And then all of a sudden, so we ought to have 2 things. We ought to have Ben speaking, and then we ought to have Scar on Lion King. You guys are going to run into scars in your life. They're seducers. They don't really care about you. They just don't. They think they do. You think they do. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. And Kenny, there's a high statistical probability that he's going to go ahead and get some type of an opportunity, and it's going to be, maybe it's not black and white. Maybe it's not black and white. And he's probably going to have people telling him, a lot of people telling him, yeah, do it. Go for it. No, you fulfilled your obligation. Plus, this is God's calling, and this is so important, and this and this and this and this. Kenny's going to have a choice to make. There's a high statistical probability that he's going to make a choice to go ahead and to do it. And all the people in the police are going to go ahead and encourage him too, because they're so selfless. Like, yepper. That's just probably what's going to happen. It's not, seeing into the future is not that hard. It's really not. Unless, of course, you're not self-aware. Then it's impossible. You have no idea. And you don't want to go ahead. You don't want to see the future because you enjoy. So there's this guy I know, and he's spending a whole year not caring about anything. And he was raised Baptist, and it's fascinating. It's going to be fascinating. So he doesn't care if people are going to hell. Like, people go to hell, hey, whatever. That's hard for a Baptist to verbalize. But I don't know. It seems like based on Baptist actions, that's what it is. So a whole year, he's not going to care about anything other than himself, just nothing. Second year, he's going to go ahead and spend, it's an interesting plan. Second year, he's going to spend trying to convince himself that he is a caring person, even though he's not. Third year, he's going to go ahead and spend convincing other people that he's a caring person when he's really not, but he's convinced himself. And so then he can be like everybody else out there. Well, that seems like a cynical thing, or is it? I mean, when you think about the truth of that, it's fascinating. So anyways, so Scar comes along and puts Simba at very life at risk. Who saves? And he's a young adult by now, a young lion. Like, he's an adult. See, people that don't care, they have no comprehension. They have no comprehension of caring. None whatsoever. It's like, you'd think that if somebody was a father, they'd understand, but they don't. You think somebody is a mother, they'd understand. They don't. They're clueless. So Scar gets him into the situation. Who saves him? His dad does. His dad does. And in saving him, it cost the dad his life. That goes back to, Africa when Jonathan was 13. But maybe another story for another time. But I'm telling you, the most dangerous is when you go ahead and become confident. If you should be confident, and you'll go ahead and people will go ahead and tell you what you want to hear. You'll surround yourself by like-minded people. And they'll tell you, you'll tell them, you guys will dance together. It's absolutely insane. So people move together. The Amish do, the Baptists do, most people do. They move together in herds and flocks because they're weak. Which I guess if you're weak, you should be part of a herd and a flock. But don't think you're strong. You're not. You're not. You're just going from one addiction, one dopamine hit to another. So what I learned this weekend is if we care what others think about us, we're only caring about us, not about other people. Fascinating journey. Anybody have any thoughts, questions, anything at all?
How does that work when we care about what people think about us? We don't care about anybody except us.
Right. But the group goes ahead and makes you think you're a caring person because, oh, so this is the caring model. Like this is what's so cool. Like this is in the quantum world. This is you guys, well, this is in the same time frame, same time period. Pay attention to Nora. She's going through the 100 white papers. She's going through the 100 white papers, and the one that she's going through right now is the first one. What's in it for me? And so, the concept of selfless selfishness. Tom and I talked about that for years. Like this stuff, you guys won't appreciate it. You just won't, which is fine, I guess. It's like, so in here in the caring model, this is what I just realized. Like this was developed years ago. So it's all about us, only us. Then you get to a group, but the group is all about them. It's all about the group. I didn't realize this. People go ahead and think it's about the group. They never go over to this area. They never do. It's just like there's new insight into it. It's like, holy cow, I didn't realize that. So in the crazy hot matrix, I didn't realize you could have different things. So this weekend I came up with, we'll see if I put it together. But there's this model about like who really cares. I mean, who the people who look like they care often don't at all. But they've convinced themselves and everybody else around them that they do, and everybody else around them thinks they do too. It's fascinating. You just look at a group and the group will think it cares. The Amish, they think they care. The Baptists, they think they care. Police officers, they think they care. Pastors think they care. If you're part of a group and that group will control you. It will dominate you. It just will. It's crazy. Any other questions? So Elaine just got back to me. At the time, I believe it was just Kenny, but some things Nora says lately, I think she's there at times too. So it's like, like Elaine, it's so cool with Elaine. Like she's a 4.2 level friend. Like, she's a 4.2 level. It's crazy. Like I've never met somebody like her before. And so it's like when she tells me stuff, she is so careful, intentional. Like she tells me stuff, she never goes ahead and says, well, don't pass this along to other people. She doesn't tell me. She doesn't tell me most of what probably gets told to her. And I'm good with that. I don't want to know anything more than I need to know. But it's weird. It's like people listen. I think it's hypoxia. People have trauma, people have stress, and the very people that protect them, care for them, watch over them, will defend them, will support them, will stand up with them. And they will take advantage of those people and the people that will lie to them, friends, longtime friends, lie to them, deceive them. And they'll continue to have them as friends, continue to listen to them. Why? Because they're both crabs in a bucket. It's just when you see this stuff, like Solomon says, wisest man that's ever lived, he's like, wisdom is a pain. Like you don't want it. You don't like it because you see all this stuff that you didn't want to see. You want to go along and just in life and just not see things. But eternity is forever. Anything else, Kenny, you got? Luke, anything you got?
No.
Nor anything you got?
No.
All right. Thanks, everyone.